So we are recording. Fab. Thanks so much for joining us, Scottie. So I have no idea. What's the date? 24th of January 2018. No, 19.
19.
Year in the past. So we're going to have a quick chat about Team Cup, why we should do it. We're all on a Team Cup, by the way. We're all on it together. But yeah, what it's done, why Beachbody do it, I guess, and how you've seen your business grow when you've been on previous Team Cups, I think is the main kind of things. And maybe we could fire a few questions at you.
I would love that. I love questions the best. Like last night when I got to talk with Jennifer, I'm like, yes. I was like, what's the topic? And she's like, Q&A. I'm like, perfect. Then you don't got to prepare. You just answer and share what's on your mind. So Team Cup, I can't remember what book it was that I was reading one time. And it was after I did my first Team Cup, but it kind of validated a lot of the things that I've done in my business that have brought me to where I'm at right now. And it was something along the line, like you have to like actively put yourself in the spotlight and take action on things that are offered to you inside, whether it was this, like a business like ours or anything. Like if you're working in your job and the boss is like, hey, I need 5 volunteers to help me head up this project. If you're the person that's doing that, that's going to put you in a position to advance through the company. And so I look at every opportunity that Beachbody has, like, hey, do you want to help host Super Saturday? Or do you want to speak at the Super Saturday? Or here's a Team Cup, as those types of opportunities for us inside of our business. And then I also look at, you guys already signed up, so this doesn't really help you guys in this sense, but I think as you guys begin to lead your own teams and expand on your own teams, it will really help. Right at the beginning of one of my favorite books that I've listened to over 61 times now, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, before he goes on to go on a 20-year journey of compiling success secrets of the most successful people of the times, he was asked if he would take on that project, and it took him, I think, 29 seconds to say yes. And when he found out if it would have took him more than 60 seconds, they would have moved on and found somebody else to do it. So like I took that from that book, like, there's a key. Like when there's an opportunity for you to grow or take on a challenge, you have to get in the habit of just saying yes, not overthinking it and taking action on it. So I just want to commend you guys for doing that and being on a Team Cup already. I've never missed a Team Cup. I'm going to tell you guys about my very first Team Cup. So I signed up in April of 2011, and our first Team Cup, it was a little bit longer. It was 60 days. It was a 2-month Team Cup. Now they're just 1 month. But our Team Cup was from June to July. And you guys probably don't know this about my journey, but I've hit Success Club 10 every month of my journey as a coach. When I started, we didn't have challenge packs. Basically, you got 1 Success Club point if you started someone on Shakeology Home Direct, and you got 2 points if you signed up a coach on Shakeology Home Direct. And my goal was Success Club 10, and I'm just going to tell you straightforward my thinking. Finding 5 coaches was easier than finding 10 customers, because we got two points for a coach and 1 for a customer. At that time as well, you couldn't be in Success Club 5 unless 1 of those points came from a coach as well. Success Club required 1 coach sign up. So my mindset as I started to build my business, to help you guys understand, was sign up coaches. But coaching also wasn't a big scary thing. Coaching to me was P90X changed my life. I can earn a 25% commission if I sell someone P90X or Insanity or Shakeology. And that's all that I looked at coaching as. That was what the coaching business was to me and my invite process. And I believe that everybody should be a coach because of how it was transforming my life. It helped me lose 40 pounds. I was beginning to love Shakeology, and I love the community. So like, who should I not invite to that opportunity? So I was hitting Success Club 10 from the beginning, which was basically 5 coaches every single month as I started my business. I kind of skipped the customer part in the beginning. And it was solely for that reason, because I got 2 points for that. And it just, if I'm going to hit 10 every month, 5 is easier than 10. That was my mindset. So April, I hit Success Club 10. May, I hit Success Club 10. And towards the end of May, my coach, Lindsay, comes into the team page, and she's like, we're going to do a team cup. I want members on my team who are willing to get first place, like do whatever it takes to get first. And so I just put my name down, me, like whatever she did. I can't remember if it was emoji or comment, I'm in, but I put my name down for that team cup. I had no idea what it was. I didn't know what it involved. I just signed up because I wanted to put myself out there, and I wanted to be surrounded more, be more connected with my coach, and work more closely with her, because I had this thing in my mind, like, how in the heck is Lindsay bringing on like 15 coaches a month? Like, I'm really having a hard time bringing on 5 coaches. What is she doing? So I figured if I get in the team cup, I can work more closely with her and see what she's doing to do that. So I signed up for the team cup, and you know, I just remember we had a text thread on our phones. Just all of us were in the same message thread. And she had a whiteboard in her office that had all of our names. And every time that we sold the challenge, like we didn't have challenge, every time we sold the Shakeology Home Direct or sign up a coach and got points, we just were putting it in the text thread. Like, hey, I just signed up a new customer on Shakeology, add 1 point to the board. And she would put it up and she'd snap a picture. And I'm not the most competitive person, but I'm a little competitive if I don't want to be the one that didn't pull up my end of the bargain, I guess was the thing. So it really forced me to want to work hard and not be the lowest producer on my team cup. So we signed up. We ended up actually winning we won first place in the team cup. It was the first team cup that they ever did. And they didn't have a cool prize like go to corporate and work out with a celebrity trainer. Back then, we just got an iPod, but I was so grateful to earn that iPod. But aside from earning the prize, because as you guys get in this team cup, there's cool prizes, and you can read about them in the Coach FAQ. I'll try to recite them by memory. But the biggest prize that the team cup gave me was the belief that I could do more than I thought was capable of me when I first started. Because like I was hitting Success Club 10, and I believed I could hit Success Club 10. But as I did that, it was like I would hit Success Club 10, and then I would be like, oh crap, where am I going to find 5 more people this month? And but that would force me into work, into starting conversations, following up, getting creative. So it was always forcing me to work, but it was always like, oh man, Success Club 10, how am I going to do that again? But when in the team cup, I ended up getting SC 35. So if you do the math on that, that's like signing 17 coaches or 35 new customers. And so what that did for me personally was like literally coming out of that, it was exciting to win the team cup. It was exciting to like earn that prize. It was exciting to get recognized by Lindsay and by corporate. And I got a call with Sandy. I didn't know who Sandy Biodani was at the time, but she interviewed me and did a little thing and shared it with the Coach Network on some of my tips and whatnot. So that was cool. But all of that just built more confidence in me. Like, holy cow. Like I always inside of myself thought I had something special. Like in every job, like I've always thought like I had some gifts and talents and I'm a hard worker and all that stuff. But I never really felt that come from a company or from an employer, at least at that level. But the biggest thing that it did for me was that when June, because it was during June and July, coming out of July, I was like, okay, if I can do SC 35 in July, like it's going to be a piece of cake to do SC 10 every month. It's going to be a piece of cake. So what it did is it just increased my belief on what I was capable of when I really put in all the hard effort, and made me realize that my goal of SC 10 monthly wasn't going to be that hard to achieve. Because everything you do in life, you guys are going to learn comes, like if you believe it, it's like the hocus pocus of personal development, right? If you believe it, you can achieve it. But literally that's what it did for me of like, dude, Scottie, if you can do SC 35 in 1 month, you can do SC 10 every single month. And here we are now. I'm SC 14 this month. It's my 93rd month of SC 10. And I attribute it to what I did in that team cup of being able to just go beyond what I thought was possible, set a new standard for myself of SC 10 is easier than I thought. It's also when I began to realize that I could hit SC 10 in my business and build my wife's business as well. And it all stemmed from that is inside of that team cup. The other thing that it did for me is like as Lindsay had her board and we're marking points and we're trying to be the #1 team. Like every point matters when you're in a race like that. And we already earned all the prizes that were available, so we're going for first place now. And Lindsay's like, okay, Scottie, we get another point if you advance your business. It was just as simple as that. And I'm like, and I was an emerald. You know, and you guys might laugh at this because you see me where I'm at now. But I was like, okay, what's the next rank? And she's like, it's a diamond. It literally could have been ruby, but I was an emerald coach. She's like, the next rank is diamond. And I'm like, what's that? And I immediately start Googling it. I see the image. I'm like, okay, I need 2 emerald coaches. Because at the time, remember, I'm signing all coaches. I had like 14 coaches when she told me I need to go diamond. And so I'm like, okay, I need to be diamond. So I signed up Gabby as a coach. She wasn't signed up as a coach yet. I signed up Gabby and I signed up her first 2 coaches and she became an emerald. And then I put a lot of focus and attention into 2 of my local coaches that I had here. And both of them became emeralds in that month. And like, I had to get creative about that. That's when I started doing what would be called a home party. Like, you guys ever hear of like Tupperware parties and stuff? Did you guys do that stuff there? So like, I literally would plan like healthy barbecues with my coach. Her name was Melissa. And I'd be like, invite your friends over. We're gonna do a barbecue. We made them shakes. I brought my before after picture. We showed her progress. It was like 30 pounds. And we just recruited her coaches from that party, like signed up coaches to join her team. So it forced me to get creative and think outside of the box. Not just sitting behind my laptop, messaging people, adding friends on Facebook and doing kind of that standard procedure, but to get out in my community as well and work one-on-one with my coaches. And so that helped me do that. And it kind of took me from this place of in my coaching business of, because I told you guys I had 14 coaches. I didn't know what diamond was. I didn't know really about the team bonus cycles. All I knew is that every human should be a coach. Every human should drink Shakeology, do these workouts, have this community, and get a 25% discount. And I didn't really understand the business aspect of it. But that Team Cup, literally her telling me go to diamond, which forced me to learn what diamond was, to learn about team bonus cycles. Oh, this is how you get paid for that. And I really started to understand that. And that's where my transition started to go from, I can make $10,000 extra this year by selling Shakeology and Insanity and P90X and recruiting coaches to, holy crap, like I could actually cut back my 12-hour work shift to an 8-hour work shift. I still didn't have the vision of doing this full time yet, but I began to see how the business worked more after doing that, and that it was possible for me to start cutting back my hours at work and to bring Gabby home. So that's what we did with the Team Cup. Now I'm going to transition into something else. I've been in every single Team Cup. Like, we crushed it and got #1. I've also been in a Team Cup before where I barely squeezed by with like Success Club 14 and had like all 4 of my coaches not hit Success Club on my team before. So I don't want you to like go into this Team Cup and be like, oh, we didn't crush it like Scottie did, and we didn't whatever. We didn't go to that level or exceed our maximum potential in Success Club points or whatever it is. Like, I've had both. I've had Team Cups where, because we usually do two Team Cups a year where we crush it, and I've had Team Cups where we don't crush it, but inside of the Team Cup saying. But every time we've been in the Team Cup, I've seen strong relationships form between the members, like kind of like accountability partnerships, and the activities that we do during the Team Cup then lead to future success. Does that make sense? So what that means, Vic and Charlie, is, let's say, like, I believe you guys can do more than you've ever done before. Okay. But let's say you don't do more than you've ever done before, but you take massive action. Like, let's say you do 5 times more invites than you ever have done because you're trying to win these prizes and you guys want to do awesome as a team. But let's say they don't follow through. Your prospects don't follow through or whatever, and you just don't hit your goal. Let's say your goal is 20 points each. That's what I set the goal for my team this time, is we're each going to hit Success Club 20. Because that's like 80 points, right? 100 points, which is a lot of points between the team of 5. But let's say you don't do that, but if you take the action and do, let's say 5 times as many invites and follow-ups throughout the whole month of February, what's going to happen is in March, April, May, June, July, August, those seeds are going to be harvested. And so you're going to see more success and more momentum as we go into the summertime. And so that's one of the biggest things, I think, is, so don't be too focused on earning. Yes, set the goal to earn the prizes. Yes, set the goal to have your highest points ever. But make it more about building the relationships more between you guys and accountability in that aspect, and planting the seeds so that you guys can create some future success from that. So that's what all I'm going to share about that. Do you guys know what the prizes are for do you guys look at that yet? Can you guys hear me? Okay. So there's some cool prizes that are there. You know, from like a thermal T20 shirt, there's a pop-up like summer beach tent and stuff. Those are going to be cool prizes. It's going to be cool to put them on social media and show like, hey, my company gave me this, because most people at work don't get cool prizes like that. So that's all cool and awesome to earn, but think about more so be focused on how can you increase the belief in your own self by doing more than you're used to doing, and showing yourself what you're really capable of. So what questions do you guys have for me? Did I explain what the Team Cup or the importance of the Team Cup pretty well? What questions do you guys have, Vicky and Charlie? You guys have to unmute though.
Oh, there it is.
There she is.
Sorry. I was like, I could only see you and me, and I was confused. I've turned my screen round, so I'm very confused. That's can you hear me? Because I'm on headphones because the baby's crying.
I can hear you.
Mum guilt. So yeah, I guess what would be your best kind of invite? Because I'm asking people, and I obviously you're looking at your people, and you're different people, and you kind of tailor it to that person and what their personalities. But what would be your key aspects of an invite to somebody to coaching?
To inviting them specifically to coaching?
Yeah.
So
or would you literally just say what you've just said about working out, drinking the shake, personal development, and having the community? Would you literally just sort of say that?
Yeah, these invites, if you're gonna really crush it, like doing like a post on Facebook or on Instagram or your stories talking about all these things is going to be vital to educating your following on what we have or the value we can give them. But and this is not just for the Team Cup, to get consistent at Hitting Success Club, finding clients, there's got to be a direct invitation, which is Vicky saying, hey, Hannah, like I see that you're struggling with XYZ. I know that I can help you with that. I struggled with something similar. This is what I started to do. This is how I feel now. You want to do this with me?
I've got a lot of people that are fascinating me at the moment because Hannah keeps telling me to stay fascinating. And like really people that I'm identifying, and I'm literally saying to them, I want you on my team. And one of my friends is saying, I know. And I'm like, just jump.
Yeah.
And one thing, like, come on.
Yeah, just take the leap. And it's important to encourage people. It's important to encourage them, let them know you'll catch them and be there for them and whatnot too. But also understanding that everybody's going to have their own timing. So like, I don't like to look at people as numbers, but in any business, it's going to come down to the number of people that you talk to. Because like, let's say if I was like, I don't want to look at people as numbers, but I don't track anything and I don't sit down and start so many conversations, which is a number of conversations, and invite, like I would literally have no one to talk to in my inbox and no one to schedule phone calls with and no one to get into my challenge group. So you have to make those invites, but you do also have to, and you can always work on how to close them, right? How to close the sale, get them to take the lead. But then also understanding that everybody's going to have their own time, their own timing. For me, it took 8 months, right?
Okay.
So someone might take 8 months, someone might take a year. And you are going to find people. I find people on Instagram literally where I'll add them, I'll follow them, they'll follow me back, I'll send a message, they'll send a message back, and I'll just be like, hey, I see that you're out biking every single day. I was like, are you doing any sort of workout fitness routine or meal plans with your biking? And they'll say, no, not really. And I ask them, do you have any health goals you're working on for 2019? And they're like, yes or no, whatever it is. And then I just say, would you like some help with that? That's what I do. I help people achieve their health.
Yeah.
I think, Scottie, I really liked your live. I was saying, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, brother.
Yeah, I was saying, Scottie, how I said to you how I really liked your live that I listened to earlier. And I think, like you were saying to the girls around, how you give value of, even if people haven't bought something or signed up, that sometimes you put them in the challenge groups just to see what the experience is like.
Yeah.
And I think, just thinking what you were saying, Vix, about coaching, you were even saying, though, Scottie, weren't you, that sometimes you say to people, if you think people would be good as coaches, you let them kind of have that sneak peek as what you do as a coach, even in the challenge groups.
Yep, absolutely. I'm going to give you one example from a girl named Kenzie. She, for example, I talked to her about coaching, and she's like, yeah, I would love to do that. She's a little bit younger, has some self-doubts. You know, she had some of her own issues that she needs to work through. But this is like, she finished 21 Day Fix, and she didn't buy it from me. She doesn't have Beachbody On Demand. I don't know where she got it, right? But I invited her into my challenge group because she has the DVDs, right? She's not using Shakeology either. And this is what she wrote me when she finished day 21. She's like, thank you. I'm excited that you're on this journey, and I feel very grateful that we get to be a part of your life. And she put, thank you, Scottie. You have no idea how much you've changed my life so far, ! Because of you, I'm helping not only myself recover from bulimia, but also other people as well. I helped my brother-in-law lose 7 pounds, my cousin lose 1 pound, and I'm now helping my mother, who can't really walk, change her eating habits and do light impact exercises. So, I think too many people do lose prospects because you go through the BOD, incredible value, Shakeology, incredible product, challenge pack together, incredible value, and they're just like, I can't afford that right now, or that's too expensive. And you just let them go. If someone really wants it and they have one of those objections, I just help them where they're at, however it is I can help them. And then these messages come. And do you feel now, reading that message, that she sees the value in $160 and signing up? The value is definitely there. It took 30 days, right, to build that. He's still in here. My boy snuck in behind me. It just took a little time. So, yeah, I do that all of the time. I mean, you look at Jennifer Greenberg, where she's at. She and I did P90X together without Shakeology before we ever signed up. You know, we were in love with the community. It's like the 4 pillars of success are the fitness, the nutrition, the community, and the financial rewards. So just help them with whatever pillars they have in the beginning. You know, for Jennifer and I, it was the fitness and the community aspect. We didn't have the financial rewards yet because we weren't coaches, and we didn't have the nutrition part of, having Shakeology yet. But once we fell in love with those couple of pillars, and then we saw the benefit of the others, or we saw how much that helped us, and then we moved to the next level of using Shakeology and becoming actual coaches.
That's great.
I was going to ask.
Sorry, carry on, Vic.
Go on. No, go on.
No, because I'm going slightly off topic if you want to respond to this one. So you.
Okay, mine was just that Hannah and I were saying about how it is so difficult to kind of portray how good the virtual gyms are and the challenge groups are. And recently we've kind of been filming us scrolling through, and that's kind of a little nice sneak peek. But actually I have got a couple of people that are not quite taking the leap, but I think that's a good idea. I think that is sort of, it's just a little bit more, if that makes sense. And I think that's really valuable, actually.
Getting there.
There's only so much you can explain how good it is, if that makes sense, without someone being in it.
Yeah, it's like if you were at a church or something, like you can talk about it, but until they go in there and feel it. Or if they are a Super Saturday event, you can tell people, oh, it was the most amazing thing. But until they sit in there and feel the emotion or the energy, kind of the same similar aspect. One thing that I want to address before we take Charlie's question was, like, how do we explain how awesome Beachbody coaching is, or the challenge pack? And I'm reading a book right now. I wanted to recommend it to you guys. It's called Building a Story Brand. Clarifying your message so your customers will listen.
I've just started it, Scottie, and I was listening to it in the car. Yeah, I was listening to it on the car on the way to work, and I think I got to the bit where it said talk about your it was the first bit about, was it brainstorming your villains or something like that? And I was like, no, I can't listen any further. So I've got to have pen and paper before I listen any further. So
Oh, I thought you meant like, I don't want to think about my villains.
I don't want to think about the villains.
I just want to be positive.
That's what I thought too. No, I don't want to revisit my demons.
No. I was just like, I need pen and paper. But I was gripped up until that point. It's a really, really good book.
I'm like with the national wake-up calls. I'm like, no, stop. You're saying too many good things.
Yeah.
Go on, Hannah.
Yeah, what I realized from it, though, is that a lot of us, me included, are giving way too much information, and we're just confusing people. And that's basically helps you. Like, I made a video on YouTube, and it took me I never re-record a YouTube video. I always just one-shot it and upload it. I re-recorded 4 times, realizing how much I just talk about random stuff that isn't needed. And still, when I got done,
definitely me.
And I was like, I know that message could have been 40 seconds, and it still took me 2 minutes. So it'll take practice, but I just practiced, and I still put it up. But just getting real clear about how I help people. You know, I help people get results with home fitness programs, and I was just trying to be really specific so that people know actually what we do. Because a lot of times they'll look at coaching, and they're like, what do? They're like, they make a lot of Instagram stories, they write posts, they do these recognition things with these PV numbers I don't know about, and Success Club and all that, and they're just kind of confused, so they take no action. So our messaging in the invite and in our posts need to be very direct and clear on how we can help somebody change their life. What do we actually do to help someone change their life? I think that'll help as well. Aside from the private invites we need to make over the next, as we go into this Team Cup, we need to be very clear and concise on our message. Mm-hmm. And one of the key thing I took out of that as well, it's like, is not talking about yourself or your business and your business accomplishments, but making the person that's reading your post, or this would be making the person that's reading your invite, understand how they can be the hero in their own life. Like, be the hero of the story. Whatever story it is you're trying to tell, or the invite that you're trying to make, being very clear on how they can be that person.
Who's it by, sorry? Is it Donald?
Donald Miller, Mill.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah. So, ladies, I have 10 minutes before I have a call with one of my new coaches. So what other questions can I help you with?
I was just wondering, Scottie, I've had a lot of people kind of show interest in doing a 14-day free trial.
Uh-huh.
And they send me like all their information. I send them share a cart and everything like that. And then they never commit to then going through with it.
Yeah.
Any tips on that?
Yeah, so mine is, it kind of goes back to that live I did the other day, just being really creative. Like, I try to think about in my life, if there's something I'm supposed to be doing and I'm not following through with it, like my personality, like I don't want somebody to just come to me over and over about the same thing. No. Like, I'm not very good at like, for example, there's a leader on our team that really has a struggle with her leadership and her people getting really discouraged. And she has like a intense coach training where like if you go inactive, there's like, it's like a website where you can have access to it, and it's called like your name has like a card on it. If you don't have your HD order through or you postpone it, she pulls your card and you have no access to the team page. And I'm like, man, if I was in a place like that, I wouldn't thrive. I would feel defeated and I wouldn't take action.
Yeah.
So the same thing goes, like if I'm supposed to, I'll give you an example. I'm supposed to, our family got challenged in our church by one of the leaders that's over like our whole city to take up this new program for our church of teaching the gospel inside of the home before it rolls out to the rest of the church. And we're like January 24th, and I haven't done too much about it. I've done a little bit, but I haven't really engaged in it fully. And I think like if every week he just got a hold of me, he's like, hey, have you done that yet? Hey, have you started doing that yet? I would just kind of, each time that I didn't, be a little bit like, oh, no, I haven't done it, and kind of get annoyed. But he came to me the other day, like he just got a hold of me. He's like, hey, I saw you were out snowboarding last week. He's like, where did you go? And I told him he's like, oh man, I love that hill. We used to go skiing there as a kid all the time. And then guess what I did? Hey, I have not started yet, but we do have a plan to do it on Monday. And we're going to get started on Monday. Does that make sense, the difference? He could have just came to me and said, hey, have you started yet? Have you started yet? And then before you know it, they start to just kind of zone you out. You don't really listen. But if they care about you and are interested in what you're doing, it's just human nature, I think, to then be like, you know, that you have a responsibility or something you promised to them, and you bring it up. And so I do that all the time with my, you know, I go hunting, like archery hunting and whatnot. So like I had a follow-up to do just the other day, and I just asked him, like, if he's been out, hey, have you been, well, it's not hunting season anymore, but deer lose their antlers in the winter, and he goes and collects, I know he collects them. So I'm interested in him, other than that he wants to lose 40 pounds, because that's 4. So I just asked him, I was like, hey, did you find anything when you went out, it's called shed hunting? And he sent me a picture of what he found. And I sent him a picture of some that I found. And he's like, hey bro, I've been meaning to do that. I'm just waiting. I'm a little behind on bills. I'm waiting for my tax return. Right? So you see how you can be creative in the follow-up versus just saying, hey, have you clicked on that link yet? Another way that I'm creative about that as well is just really going in and love bombing, I guess you could call it, on their posts, commenting on their posts a lot, just getting your name in their face. So I find that works better. It would be like, Vicky, if you told me you're going to do it and you're going to do it next Monday, I send you a share card. Like if the next day I'm like, Vicky, did you do it yet? And you ignore me, let's just say you're busy, you're stressed at work or something. And then I'm here like pressuring, have you done it yet? And then the next day I don't hear from you. I'm like, hey, Vicky, I haven't heard from you. Have you checked your email yet? And you ignore me because you're stressed out. You're going to start to get annoyed with me. So what I would do is I would go to your Facebook page or your Instagram or your store, whatever it is that you're doing social media wise. And I would just start engaging with that. I'd say, hey, Vicky, I saw you were with, you know, whatever. You were doing this last night. How was that? Like, what is that like? You know, or did you enjoy that? Whatever it is. If it was something I would like doing, I would ask you to give me recommendations or something. And then what are you going to do if I do that?
Actually respond and not be annoyed.
Yeah, you're going to respond. And then you're going to be like, hey, I had a hard time these past days. Or I saw your message. I looked at my messenger app at the stoplight and I totally forgot. You know, the light turned green. I put my phone down and I forgot that I looked at that message, and I've been meaning to get back to you.
It's so true, because as soon if like someone keeps messaging me, I just completely shut off, and I'm like, that's really annoying. I cannot deal with that. So it's so true. Whereas I'm probably doing that a little bit, going, have you done it yet? Have you done it yet? Have you done it yet? Partly excitement, but partly like, come on.
Yeah, you're excited for them. You know how much it's going to inform their life. So just getting creative with that, with your ways of connecting. So that's how I make, because I don't love the invite process, and probably my least favorite thing is the follow-up process. Mm-hmm. So I've had to create So it's not like a dreadful thing to reach out to my list of like 30 follow-ups to sit there and be like, have you done it yet? Have you done it yet? And make it more, how can I engage this person? Like when I sit down to do it, I literally have to set the intention. Like, how can I engage with this person to find out what's holding them back? So just creating intention behind what you're doing as well, and getting creative about it will help. I'm thinking, we got 5 minutes. I'm thinking in my first Team Cup, like literally that's when my mom and dad got Shakeology for the first time. It's when my sister got signed up as a coach. So some of my advice as well is I don't know how many friends you guys have followers on Instagram or Facebook, but I guarantee that you probably actually haven't invited 90% of them, like an actual direct invite, or people that you see every day in real life outside of social media. You haven't just looked them in the eye, gave them a hug as a neighbor or whatever it is, and said, hey, like, I've been really excited about something in my life and I want to tell you about it. And then tell them about it and saying, hey, you want to do this with me? So that would be some of my advice as well. What other questions? We got a couple minutes.
Have you got any questions?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I guess. So you sort of say, up the ante. Sorry, I'm getting a cold.
I have one too. You must pass it. I took a nap today in the middle of my work day just because I was like, oh.
Well, you're lucky you can do that.
I can.
Being able to go for a nap in the middle of the day.
Yeah, that is a goal.
That was my big why. That was my big. When I left my job, people said, what are you going to do now you're retired? Far from retired, but I said, I'm going to make sure that I sleep 8 hours every day. So.
Yeah, I'm not getting 8 hours. I'm getting more like 6. It's killing me.
Why?
I'm jealous of your 6.
Yeah.
Anyway,
although it's in bed
Hannah.
for 6, I don't think I'm actually asleep for those 6. But anyway.
Yeah.
So up in the ante. So I suppose my only question is, so I'm trying to get at least 10 invites out a day.
Mm-hmm.
If I do that 5-fold, so I'm 50 invites. Okay, that's going to take me quite a bit of time, even when I'm like, right, who's watched my story, send invite, who's watched my story, send invite, who's liked my post, send invite. So I've started to get a bit more confident. Hello, little man.
Hi.
And
that's your little man, Scottie.
Oh, like, who are you guys looking at? I'm like looking at your screens, like, who's little man?
So if I'm trying to up the ante, that takes time. That's 50 people. If I'm trying to hit 50 people a day, fine, no problem. When there's a will, there's a way. The thing is I have to find little pockets of time. So I guess I'm probably going to have to get up a little bit earlier to try and do that. My thing is that I always seem to run out of time. I know, and I'm not going to be able to recreate it. But I've got my Success Club tracking system. I'm ticking it off every day. I just don't end up getting to do every single thing because I'm really trying to concentrate on the invites first. And then these ladies will be, oh, did you see that awesome post? And I'm like, I haven't seen anything. And I just feel like, how can I do it all without having 2 hours sleep a day?
Yeah. So I want to answer this question because this is a really important question. Let me just text my coach. He'll be good with a 5 minute, being 5 minutes late, just so I could tell him. And then I'll answer this because I've definitely been here before. Okay, I'm not finding his text. It's like a silent. I don't like silence I have to learn like silence.
You do. You see,
I'm learning to like silence as well.
Mental health nurse, OT, leadership woman who's been made to sit in silence with. My boss is a psychologist, remember, Scottie? Yeah. We have very long periods where we can sit in silence.
I can do it by myself.
Stand silence.
for hours by myself, but around people, I'm like, someone needs to say something. Okay.
For me, it's being an only child. I can't stand it.
Yeah.
So, I was going to say the worst thing in therapy as well, Hannah, is when you're doing CBT, they tell you have to sit with the silence to wait for the person to respond, and it can take a long time sometimes. And I can feel myself on the edge of the seat, like, I'm like, stop it, don't answer. Oh,
that's something I need to work on.
mm.
Okay, so let's answer this question. So there's been times about, like, I made that training video how I hit SC50 1 month.
Yeah.
Another quick example is when I built my mom to diamond. I built her from emerald with just 2 coaches to diamond in 2.5 days. So we could directly correlate that example to what we're doing in the Team Cup. It's just a longer period of time. And during that time, like one of those days I was outdoors, like hunting and with my phone when I built that diamond in 2.5 days. So the only thing that I can really suggest is, because your question is like, how do I do everything and get that done, is don't do everything. Just talk to people, and that's it. Like less training calls, less listening to or checking into groups. If you're doing it multiple times a day, just do it once a day, and getting on the phone with people, like getting on a video chat with people, getting on the phone with people, letting people go that aren't ready yet. 100%. If they're not showing any interest or any excitement towards what you're doing, I call it a bless and release. Just know that the seed was planted, continue to add value, and they'll come back when the timing is right.
Yeah.
And then the thing that I really had to shift, and Gabby was like, why don't you do this every day? Like after I did that, she's like, can you imagine what your business would be like if you did that every day? Like how I built my mom to diamond in like 2.5 days. I was like, yeah, but I don't know if I have that endurance. I know I do, but what I had to do in that specific circumstance to help you guys understand is I had to break out of the routine. So I know Success Club the Success Club system tracker is awesome, but I had to break out of that route. You know, I have my routine that's very similar to that. I do the same thing every day for 8 years. Hit my groups, do my new invites, do my follow-ups, answer my messages, and I go through it every day. What I had to do is when somebody showed me interest, like I'm interested, I dropped everything. Like I was used to, so it's like breaking your routine and your patterns. Like let's say I'm doing my invites and I'm like, okay, I got 40 invites to do or 40 follow-ups, and someone say, okay, I want to talk about it. My routine before was like, okay, I got 39 more follow-ups to do. I would say, okay, let's schedule a time for tomorrow. Let me know when works. And then I would continue with my follow-ups. And I would schedule that call. The only thing I shifted is when, let's say I'm doing this, and I write Hannah a follow-up. I get creative, no response. I write Vicky a follow-up, and she's like, okay, I'm interested. My normal pattern would be, okay, let me know when you can talk tomorrow or Saturday. And then I would go on to Charlie. Hey, Charlie, I've been thinking about you. I saw you went here yesterday. And I would just go through. The thing that changed is when Vicky says, okay, I'm interested. I said, hey, Vicky, can I call you right now? Like I just dropped everything I had when somebody was interested and got on the phone with them or engaged with them in a conversation.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Because it's like, I guess it would be a sales. I don't like talking about it's like a sales. It's a sales technique. If I come into the dealership and I get in a car and I'm excited and I'm like, oh man, yeah, I could see how this would be great for our camping trips and it fits all my kids. And the dealer sees another customer come in and is like, okay, I'm going to go talk to this guy and let me know if you have any questions. Right? I could very well move on and just leave and go to another dealership or leave the lot, and he could never see me again.
Yeah.
Because he was focused on getting to that next customer. But if he were to stay there with me and follow through and ask me the right questions, sit me down at the table, he could probably make the sell. If he was genuine about caring about me and not just the sell, right? So I think the same thing we'll go through with this is as you're in that routine of contacting more people, following up with more people, of just when you have somebody excited, take them when they're excited. Because people buy off of the emotion. So if they're emotional about it, or their conversation with you, or something you shared, and they reach out to you, if they reach out back to you or said, I'm ready, like that's the best time to help get them started. Okay, does that help you guys?
Yeah, that's really helpful. So
yeah, that's great. Thank you.
just invites, follow up, post, invite, follow up, post, invite, follow up.
Yep. Yeah, and then let people experience, get a foot in the door. I know we're going for points in here, but the same thing rings true. Like if they can't get the challenge pack or whatever right now, or membership, or the 6-month membership, or the year membership, or to use the P90X DVDs they have from their uncle from 10 years ago, and just because that's going to be your successful points in the future too. So I think much beyond just this Team Cup, but those are some tips for the Team Cup. Okay, well, I'll let you ladies go.
Thank you so much for your time.
Oh, thank you so much.
Okay, see you guys.
All right, thank you. Take care.
Thank you.
All right, hit the end on the record real quick, and then I'll leave the meeting.
Okay, bye.